Everybody here comes from a village, even if it's a village in the town or a village in the village. In every society, there is need for legal services. There is need for a legal spokesman. Make yourself available. Let the society know that you exist. That is the only time when the society will respond to your quest. That's when I say, create a job for yourself. Become relevant in people's lives. What is your relevance in your society? What is your relevance in your community? You must be relevant. Don't be a useless person. In fact, allow yourself to be used. If you can't be used, then you are useless. A good lawyer must be someone who can be used by society. I didn't say abuse, I said used. Two different connotations. So the moment you become a useful member of the society, you start creating opportunities for yourself. I will not tell you, I don't have to tell you how you will end up. I will not say who is going to become the greatest advocate, or the greatest professor, the greatest corporate title. But I can tell you, as long as you allow yourself that you can be used, you will see significant impact of your legal skills in our society. I don't tell you about discipline. That is now cliche to talk about discipline. But I tell you fear God. Believe in something. You must believe in something as a person. What do you believe in? Even if you believe in food, just find something that you believe in. You must believe in a cause. So, on my part, I've acquired a new belief. And that is partly why I've come to Moi University today. I've been an advocate. Moi University made me an advocate, has opened up my eyes, has made me see one in a way that I didn't know before. But now I believe in something. I believe in the quest for the common man, the people's agenda. What's the common good? At the end of the day, what do you want to be reminded, to be remembered for in this life? That you ate too much food? That you spoke the best English? What is your legacy? Define your legacy as the earliest available opportunity. What legacy do you want to leave behind? My legacy that I want to leave behind, and tied to what the Secretary General said that I'm going to become the next president of Kenya, is a legacy for the black man. You know, as a country, we've reached a point where our political rights have been acquired. The political economy is now established. We have a constitution, we have a comprehensive bill of rights. The evolution was actually the ultimate representation of the self-actualization of our political rights. But does it end there? Is the quality of life of the Kenyan improving? Is it getting better or is it getting worse? Have we actualized our economic liberation? We've had several epochs of struggle in our continent, of our race. The black man at the first time was enslaved, taken through ships to the Americas, to the Middle East, as a slave, sold like livestock to fellow human beings. They rose against those acts of slavery, but then they didn't get their independence. They became colonized. The white man came into Africa, took over our lands, turned us into laborers, exploited our resources, and made us their subjects. Our forefathers fought for independence of this country, and we got what was called the independence of the flag, where we lowered the Union Jack and raised the Kenyan flag. But did we get the real political independence? Because still within our statute books, we had limitations on expression of ourselves, limitations on the choice of our leaders, limitations on your freedom to move, freedom of association, freedom of assembly. So we never got full political independence. And that is why Kenneth Matiba, Charles Kubia, Jaramogi Odinga, James Orengo, and others, Paul Mwite, my former party leader. They came together to say, we are going to fight to open up the democratic space in Kenya. And they fought for the repeal of Section 2A and reduction of multi-party democracy. That was a political struggle to free the people from the black colonialists. I do believe that our fight for the political liberation of this country was self-actualized in the year 2010 when we got a new constitution. Are we freer today than we were the last decade? In terms of political speech, we can say yes, right? You can speak more freely today than you could speak 10 years ago. You have more avenues of conversation today than we had 10 years ago. But are we economically better off today than we were 10 years ago? So it means we've gotten our political independence, but we are yet to get economic liberation. So my quest is to invite soldiers into this new journey to economically liberate our country. What are the yokes? What are the chains that are detaining our country, holding back our people from actualizing themselves? And we are going to confront them when we finish school. If you are not economically liberated, you are limited and restricted in your approach in life. Because ultimately, the measure of a man or a woman is his ability to provide for himself and for his future generation. And not through self-aggrandizement, but through providing an equal society that everyone has an opportunity for self-growth and actualization. Is our society today any better? Are we getting equal opportunity for everyone? That is what my course is. How to engage in a conversation that will change the economic trajectory of this country. And that is my political quest. I'm now moving away from law into politics. Fountain of knowledge, the river of life, as I call it. I'm now joining the river of the political life. And it is onerous upon all of us to ask ourselves, what is your role? Some people will say, politics is not my call. But politics even determines that chair you're sitting on today. Even your presence in this room today is political. You cannot surrender. And you should not surrender your voice by trying to play it safe. It is your duty, your responsibility as a citizen of this country to participate in the political discourse of this nation. That is the only commitment that you have to your children and their children. Because remember always, we have borrowed today, this country, we are borrowing from our children to return it to them when we leave. So how do you exercise that borrowed right that your children have given to you? We must have an economic conversation as a people. Is our country going to survive the economic turmoil that is coming? And I want to challenge all of you. You may look at it as figures in abstract. When you see Kenya government, for example, going to borrow money, do you know what it means? When the government borrows money, in whose name is the government borrowing? The government borrows money in the name of its citizens. Do you know how much has been borrowed in your name as a sovereign? Because you are the sovereign. And when money is borrowed in your name, you have a sovereign responsibility to pay for it. You are the guarantor of all loans taken by the Kenyan government. Are you involved in that process of borrowing money by the Kenyan government? And what happens if it fails to pay? Those of you who are from Lisa, when you fail to pay, what happens? Your friends are called. Right? They are harassed, or they are listening to their bill. So also when the government fails to pay its Lisa loans, it will come back to you. So we must change, we must engage, we must ask these questions. It is time for an economic liberation, an economic conversation in this country. And more university, my alumni, I challenge you, be the first with the information. Because when the crunch comes, that who will have seen ahead before everybody else will provide the path. And the School of Law can start by writing papers, doing research on the consequence of an economic default in debt. Show the country what path it should take when it happens. How do we come out of an economic crunch? Nations have gone through this. Kenya is not different. And more university, my challenge to you, you should show us the path. Be ready with your research to guide us in this process. That is the path of my politics, but that is not the path for everyone. Everyone must identify their legacy. I said you must identify your legacy as a person. Yours may be passion in family, passion in community work. You want to leave an impact in religious zealism. Identify it and work on it. By the time you leave, the only question that you will have to those who are leaving behind is, what do you want to be written on your epitaph? You must die empty. What does it mean to die empty? Dying empty means that by the time you live your full life, you've done everything that is practically possible, and you've left an impact and a legacy and a constituency of believers in what that you are doing, that will carry the legacy to the next level. That is my invitation to all of you, my fellow Moi University alumnus. I will not say much, I will say thank you for listening.
As many questions and answers as possible. But before we do that, let us appreciate His Excellency when let us appreciate. We will do Nyayo class. Please Nyayo class. Nyayo class. Nyayo class. Banana. Wengi unaelewa nini Nyayo kutoka Nyayo. Leaders do Nyayo class. So this is our Now we will do this. We will open the space. There are so many things, for example, that you'd want to ask. For example, I particularly had hoped you'd tell them about some of the challenges you met when you were in school. Some of the challenges you had while you were there. Okay. That's number one. That's me. And how did it help you deal with the real life challenges after school? Well, number one, from my end. Okay. Let me open up you will take about 2 or 3 rounds. So let me see how many questions. Number one, I want to take number 2. I want to take number 3. I want to take 4. And the 5th one, yes. You just come. We get it to wanaulize maswali haya. We take the first round 5 questions. We get it to please come. And this is how questions are asked. My name is so and so. I am in this class. When I grow up, what? No. I have this question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think? That's all. Don't explain your question. Yeah? So tuanze na nani? Haya, tuanze ladies. Oh, you don't want to talk yet. These they are gone. The former president said to speak. Madam President, speak.
My name is Jessica Damar. I have a question in relation to the presentation you've just made. I think I love the fact that you mentioned that we should believe in a cause and we should allow ourselves to be used. And you mentioned something to do with research-based transformation, whereby the young people like us are supposed to come up with solutions to the current problems that we're facing. The major problem that I have with that is how are we going to get involved? And what is the mechanism that you're going to use to get us involved? Because we want to have ourselves be used and of course not abused. And then on my second question, in relation to...
You said used and or not to be abused.
And not to be abused. On my second question, since you are the deputy party leader of the Safina party, I would first like to speak on behalf of my fellow youth. How are you going to involve us in the transformation that we need for the country? And what are you going to do differently so that we can see Kenya fulfilling its fullest potential? And what do you think are the major challenges that we face as Kenya and how best we should approach them? That is all.
Thank you so much, Bianco Kaweno. Ametaja the secret. Yeah, the secret. I just around 2 weeks and now, with this, now you join a number of people who motivate me in life. I'm encouraged by Barack Obama, the former president, Samori Toure, Miguna, Julius Malema of South Africa, Robert Mugwe, you know, such kind of political people. Oliver Tambo. So,
there's no golden thread that connects those people together. But anyway,
but you become one of them who motivates me.
okay.
But still, knowing the political landscape we have in the country, what informs the choice of your vehicle to lead us to that economic development? The vehicle, I mean the Safina.
Why Safina?
Why Safina, that is? Why could we, as a young lad, come up so vibrant, like Julius Malema, South Africa, we come up with something new that will incorporate the new blood, so that we forge our own way.
Thank you.
And I think it's something. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Randy Uchieng Umego, second year. Randy, second year student. And I'm becoming senator here county. So my question to Advocate Willis, my friend.
You have someone now standing here.
I have my friend there from Kasarani who wants to vie for MP through Safina Party. My friend here, Bishop, was a bishop. I am here, accounting, but member for the years. So my question is this. And it is always said, those who are not taking part in politics of the country are punished by being ruled by fools. So, my question is this, you as Safina Party, what are the initiatives that you have taken to help the young leaders and upcoming leaders like me and the others?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Enoch Ogorotien, alias Woodze. I'm from the School of Medicine. Yes. So I'm coming from Seattle. And, I have a question. Honorable Willis, I've been closely following your path. For those that you have allowed us to see, like that day when you went to Marwa Awards, when you were in the movie TV, I was really looking at your ways and seeing how you are moving. My question is this. For me, ODM has been blackmailed in my backyard. So we just vote for it because we have no choice. But it has been blackmailed and you have come in with Safina. But you know very well, you know where I'm coming from, you know those people. According to your mission, you said in Ramon TV that a bare minimum for us, Nagi, is deputy president. You can to Gachagua, you said that the best thing is a substitute but not a surrogate. You can easily make a good deputy president. But with Safina and my people in my village, I think, what are you going to do that will convince me to, and my people in the village that is Willis Otieno and the Safina and not ODM? That's the first question. The second question is about I've also followed your interviews about this doctor strike. I think you have seen how they are really squeezing our testes. Because when you see, from anyone, if you see anyone trying to touch your father's testes, just know that this person is not happy that you are born. They are actively. Yes, my question is, we as students, on which are the best ways that we can come on strong? Because for us to organize the demonstration, we must consult the university, and it must be not students. And
what do you want to do?
Like, what is the best option for us students to come up with a very massive thing
To support the
support doctors in their strike so that we can push it out.
Daktari, we were doing fine. Where you in the number? Okay. I am the question. Introduce yourself to the question, yes.
My name is John Kimberly, and I missed the introductions, but I am the vice chair at SAMU. So in 2022, you were elected as the deputy manager. If we take a step back and go back to 2017, when you were swearing in the people's president, that is Raila Odinga, you were the advocate who drafted the oath, if I am not wrong. So when do you draw the distinction between the power of the people and the power of the law? Seeing that if we had presidential elections and you would have won, you would have become the deputy president. And then you are hearing someone who is swearing in the people's president. So as an advocate and as a politician, where would you be on the line? Thank you.
Okay. Senator was in this issue, Safina Party is also here.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I want to start by appreciating Willis because recently I watched your engaged on passion, and I was really inspired by this, by the passion that you take everything that you undertake to do. And my question is this: I'm drawing from the analogy that you have given us. You have talked about how, like, if it's about the client, the case belongs to the client. You must make sure that the client knows the case. And now that you are transitioning slowly by slowly to the political arena, how one, because Kenya belongs to the citizens, we are the sovereign, we are the owners of this country. how do you convince the citizens? One, because we have been very skeptical for a very long time, to give more. Because for a state or for a government to succeed, it's like the case of shareholders. You know, shareholders and the board, each has a role. So how do you convince the citizens to give more or to take more part in the development of their country, not just to be people who stand by and wait for the government to do everything for them? Because I believe one of the greatest challenges that we have as a country is that we want to be activists. Activism seems to be like a career for select few. Then the rest of citizens are just watching like a civic theaters. Thank you.
Very well. I am penultimately. Is it Pana Governor or
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We want to do